From the culture of the American South, where roots hold stories, comes a natural deodorant inspired by generations of wisdom. Introducing Rootwork, the all-natural foundational Black American-based deodorant infused with the magic of High John the Conqueror root. Our unique blend enriched with this legendary root offers 24-hour protection, rooted in the power of nature. Embrace this deodorant that celebrates culture, history, and your well-being. Unlock the magic of Rootwork today. Experience the pure essence of nature. Visit rootworkstyle.com and make the switch to a healthier, cultural choice.
Hello.
Prophetic,
Hey,
what's up, man?
Tariq, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. What's on your
Yeah,
mind?
I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and I just wanted to say this last fella that just called in now, calling himself the Zulu, man. That dude is not even from here, so I don't get why he's using that term. And another thing is, like, I also find it funny why, like, Africans from over, that tethers over there, they calling you guys to go over to Africa while those guys are still over there, trying to sell you something that's not even there. So that is kind of funny style to me. So yeah, that's all I
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
say. Like and another thing, like and as a matter of fact, like if you look at the deep studies of genetics, like you will find that so-called Black Americans are actually the oldest people in the world. They're even older than a lot of groups here over here in Africa. So don't. That's why everybody is trying to follow you guys and not the other way around. So don't let them sell you that motherland Africa nonsense, because America is the true old land. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. We have a lot of genetic continuity as foundational Black Americans, man. We have a lot of genetic continuity because we've been an ethnic group for longer than a lot of these other so-called ethnic groups. We've had that continuity. We've been deep rooted here, real heavy. So when people try this, we don't know who we are. No, we know who we are. We've been 10 toes down for centuries. These other people have been remixed and thrown into other tribes and then thrown in some other tribes, and their cultures have changed and shifted, and they've been colonized and recolonized and spread here, spread there. No. They try to project that stuff on us. Like Ngame. What's up, Ngame? You want to turn your microphone on?
What is up, nigga?
What's going on, my musty buddy? How are you,
Much
sir?
love for you FBA niggas.
Yes, indeed. Now, Mgambe, you seem to have a problem with foundational Black Americans. Now, what's the problem you have with us, sir? Oh, he bounced. So I was going to give him a chance. Mgambe, he kind of does that. He'll hop in the rooms and kind of make little gestures. And then when we get off the live, he does a lot of whiny anti-FBA tweeting. He's one of them tether whiners. Tethers are good at whining. You notice that the tether men especially. Oh, these niggas whine like bitches. They're very, very whiny. Because that's what they have to do to leave. They have to whine to somebody to give them a green card to leave. So they mastered the art of whining. What's up? Speaking of white supremacists, we have Dr. Davinsky. Haven't spoken with him in a minute. What's going on, Dr. Davinsky?
Assalamu alaikum, Tariq. White power.
Yes, indeed. Well, what's going on in the low birth rate community, sir? What's happening with you, Dr. Davinsky? Oh, Dr. Davinsky, did you drop some tuna casserole on your phone, sir? I don't know what happened. Okay. Yeah, he's having some technical difficulties with his phone, and I know he's out there in Australia, so that can be anything. Let's get an emperor's voice. Let's get Tony. Let's get Tony in the building. All right. Let's get Tony, and then we're going to get Brittany after Tony. All right. So, Tony, What's going on with it, man? We'll give you 3 seconds to say something. An emperor. All right, so Tony ain't saying nothing. Let's get on Brittany. Miss Brittany. Brittany, where you at, dear? You want to unmute your microphone? Brittany got out of here. Let's get Auntie.
Tariq.
How are you, dear?
I'm doing
Beloved?
nothing much. I just wanted to ask you if you've tried Nigerian food. That's all.
I have tried a little bit of it. I've tried one place out here. Wasn't that good. Now, you have a place in New York, correct?
No, sir. I have a place in Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, what do you specialize in? What Nigerian dishes do you specialize in?
Well, I start with the suya chicken wings and then jollof rice and to egusi. Those are my go-to on the menu. Those are the customers' favorites.
Well, you know what? When I come down to Atlanta, I got to check your spot out. I tried the spot out here in LA. I wasn't too impressed by it. So, but it could have just been that place. So I try to give people a chance. But yeah, if I go down there to Atlanta, I'll check you out, dear. Thank you so much. Let me see. All right. So, Brittany, you want to get back on? I tried to get you on, Brittany. All right, let's try it again, Miss Brittany. All right, Brittany, want to turn your microphone on? All right. All right, Brittany. All right. So we're waiting on Brittany. Let's get some other people down here. Let's get Monzone. Let's get Monzone in here. Monzone. Or Manzan. However you pronounce it. All right. Manzan bounced. He had to deliver an order. Let's get if you're ready to talk, how about this? Just raise your hand. All the people down here, if you're ready to talk, just raise your hand. Okay, is that Brittany? Hey, Brittany? All right, Brittany? All right, let's get E Rose. Let's get E Rose in here. All right, E Rose or Brittany? Is that Brittany?
My mom is. Yeah. My mom.
Okay, so it's a tether. Okay, Mr. Tether, you got a catfish page. This is a tether with a catfish page. Brother, where are you from? And you're in Africa because your phone is janky. Brother, what part of Africa you from, brother? Okay, this Negro is somewhere over in Africa. He got a fake page of a big titty white woman scamming people, using this page to scam. Boy, the stereotypes write themselves. He must have forgot he wasn't on his Finsta account. The dude has a fake page of a big titty white woman. So listen, guys, if you're getting DMs from big titty white women, it might be a musty tether somewhere in Senegal. Send me some bitcoins. I will show my titties if you send me $100. He's typing about his breasts. All right, using AI pictures or whatever. So y'all be careful out here, guys. Y'all got some tethers scamming. I'm playing with my vagina right now. I am so wet. Give me $40. Let's get YS in here. YS, hop on YS. What's going on, YS? Or E-Rose, either one of y'all. YS or E-Rose, hop on.
Hey Tariq, how you doing?
What's going on, E-Rose? How are you?
I'm good. I really just have a question. I missed the early part of your broadcast, so I don't know if you touched on this already, but by us just celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, I just wonder what you think about his children not carrying on that same spirit that he used to have, like what happened in South Carolina with the NAACP and the black media, how they put all the black folks out when we're talking about reparations. And why do you think like his family, it feel like if they were even more participating with the grassroots and talking about reparations, like one of the last things Martin Luther King said was cut the check. We're coming to get our check. And I just wonder what you thought. Every time I see them with Al Sharpton, or I see them at the White House, but they are never talking about black issues, black reparations, and black empowerment. So I just wonder, I didn't know if you touched on that, but I was wondering what you thought about that.
Let me touch on that, because you know what, sister, that's a very good point. That sister brings up a good point. Let me tell you why. All right, let's get real tonight. Let's have a real conversation about this, because she makes a good point. Now, the King family, they're all clicked in with the Democrats. They're clicked in heavy. And she said, why are they not, speaking on reparations like Dr. King did? And here's the thing. The family is clicked in with the Democrats. Why? Because the Democrats takes care of them. They take care of the King family. They make sure that they're good. So they're going to show allegiance to the Democrat, because the Democrats use the King family to push their own agenda. So they can use the King family, say, this is the family of the great Dr. King. And here they are standing here co-signing such and such candidate. So they hook them up. They make sure they're good. You see, we have to make sure the grassroots make sure people are good. That's the problem. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the ground, you don't look out for a lot of the riders like you're supposed to. Let's keep it a buck out here, man. A lot of the black folks who sacrifice themselves for the black masses, black folks don't take care of them like they should. We have to look out for people harder on a grassroots level if we want them to represent. That's the long and short of it. We let a lot of bullshit go on with our riders, the people who really stomp for the grassroots. Let's be real. Do we really look out for them like we supposed to? See, that's the conversation we got to really have. Do we really look out for our riders? Do we really protect them? Do we make sure that they're good? No. Look at a lot of our riders, the people who really looked out for black society, who didn't take the corporate checks to go against black society. Man, they die poor, they die unprotected. You understand, the John Henry Clarks, he should have been taken care of more. Some of our other riders, Dr. Welsing, she wasn't taken care of enough. I tried my best to take care of her, to look out for her. When people show pictures of Dr. Welsing, most of those pictures are from my movies. You understand? Most of those pictures and images are from my films. I wanted to make sure and elevate those riders for the community. That's why I created the Hidden Color series, to put these people on movie screens all around the world, because we weren't doing it. We have to look out for those people. You dig? We got to protect the people. We don't protect our riders. And there was a documentary about Malcolm X and the murder of our good brother Malcolm X. The guy who actually offed Malcolm X, that guy lived his life in Jersey. That man lived a cozy life. The guy who actually took out Malcolm X, I'm gonna say allegedly, just for legal purposes, but the guy who allegedly took out Malcolm X, that guy lived comfortably in Jersey, and people knew who he was. You understand what I'm saying? That type of shit. You see, hell, we can bring it into modern times. The people who killed Tupac, the people who were involved. Let's keep it a buck. Tupac was a rider. Tupac was a rider. And the people who took him out, or one of the people who was involved, going around doing interviews. That's how comfortable the dude was. And people are cool with them doing interviews. This guy's going on everybody's platform, doing interviews until he got locked back up. You see? That type of shit. If you're a rider and you're riding and somebody takes you out and then you got Negroes out here platforming them, letting them do interviews all over the place, what does that incentivize somebody else to be a rider? All right. Does that incentivize them? No. You incentivize people by making sure they're good. That's why I did the Hidden Color series. I wanted to incentivize another generation of scholar warriors by elevating the ones that were already here, sacrificing, putting it on the line, calling out systematic oppression, because the corporate structure, they're not going to elevate them. So I said it's important for us to elevate them on the grassroots level. We have to put them in movie theaters and in films that's going to circulate all over the world and elevate them. So that inspires the next generation. We got to take care of our riders. So that goes back to what the sister was talking about, the King family. Do the King family have an incentive to stomp for the grassroots? Will we take care of them? A lot of us are not going to take care of them, unfortunately, to make sure they're good. See, it has to be a labor of love, and that's not too enticing as far as an incentive. You know, we got to make sure people are good. We got to make sure our riders are good. Because all of these other groups, the people who ride for them, they make sure they're good. They make sure they're protected. They make sure that they are good. They make sure that they're financially straight. They make sure they're good. And then when people ride for white supremacy, they make sure those people are good. They made sure that Zimmerman was good. They made sure Kyle Rittenhouse was good. You understand? We need to do that for noble purposes of black empowerment. YS, hop on.
What's up, Tariq?
What's going on, Mr. YS? How are you?
Hey, man. Love what I'm hearing, man.
Yes, indeed. Now, where you from, YS?
Um, I don't wanna disclose that, but I just wanted to ask you a quick question, just and dip out.
But hold on. Before you do that, I like to know who I'm speaking with. Now, you don't want to disclose where you're from.
Yeah, just a burner account, you know.
I know it's a burner account, but why are you ashamed of your lineage? You said you were on your account. Yeah, you're a Mexican Jew. Whatever. What are you? Where's your family from? Stop being ashamed of where you're from, bro.
Um,
Don't make up anything, because now you're trying to make something. Why are you guys so ashamed of your damn lineage? Black folks, I want y'all to take heed to this.
how
These
about this?
people,
I'll say this: I'm not FBA.
all right, I know that. I know that. That I know. And I want my FBA family to know this. These people are completely embarrassed and ashamed of their damn background. All right,
Yeah, so
don't let these people project onto us. See, this is lessons for my FBA family. But go ahead. What's on your mind, Mr. Unknown Lineage? Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, Tariq, what's the FBA thoughts on Jews? I'll leave it at that.
Okay, what's your thought on them?
I'm just thinking about how much they have taken advantage of the FBA. When I'm thinking about entertainment, sports, anything related to contracting or selling their livelihood. I'm seeing this as the opportunity, maybe. We could push our agenda together.
Okay. Well, haven't they taken advantage of you too?
Yes, sir.
So what has your lineage done about that?
Here's my agenda. I'm assuming they are doing more damage to the FBA community than Africans.
Okay. What makes you think that?
Based on the number of black athletes, entertainers, the culture you guys have been pushing worldwide, it could be a bigger percentage, I'm assuming, if a certain individual is not there.
Okay. Yeah, that's just kind of babble. And by the way, my man says you have an Ethiopian accent. So you're from East Africa. You're an Ethiopian, right?
I asked you a serious question. Now you're trying to dodge it. This is
I'm not trying to dodge it.
I mean, you can get
That's
back
not a
to your regular
that's
Euro-African.
not a
You do
serious
this.
that's not a serious question. That's kind of babble. That's not even a serious question. That's a non sequitur. It's just a nothing question. It's a bad faith question. It doesn't mean anything. I don't think anything of it. I'm just thinking about foundational Black American empowerment. So I don't think about any of what these other groups do because all of them are against us. So I don't really think about it. That's what my answer is to that.
That's pretty
But
fair.
right. But so why are you ashamed of your Ethiopian background though? That's the big question.
Why are you afraid to not give a real answer? What's going on, Tariq? You usually very honest,
Here we
forward.
go. Here we go with that Ethiopian wit. Here we go. You're about to start trying to troll with that dry wit. Let's get it.
I'm not even trolling. I'm being serious.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, this is where you fall flat. Here we go. Oh, I can see you can smell. You had to cut your fail. You could smell failure coming. You could,
I'm asking you a serious question. You just trolling right now.
I'm not trolling, but you even in you're trying to troll and be witty, and you realize in the mid trolling
I'm
and
saying
wit,
you have so much heat for
it was
Africans.
I don't,
So
sir.
much heat for Africans. There's certain
I
individuals
don't.
where you
What heat
know
do,
it's a fact.
sir?
Whether it's
The heat is under your arms with that must. I don't have any heat. I don't. But you're trying to talk about other groups, and who cares? I don't. They're not calling up. If they call up talking crazy, then I will get them straight. But sir, I don't have no heat for African people. That's a projection, sir.
one last question.
Yeah.
Who's our the FBA candidate that's running for office, or who should you guys be leaning towards? That's my last question. Is it
We're
Trump
just leaning.
still?
We're leaning to anybody who's going to give us tangibles, whoever it is. And if they don't do it, we just won't vote for them. We'll sit it out. All right,
Okay, my bad. One last question.
Lord. Okay.
One last one. What if that individual was uh, a booty scratching African that pushed your agenda? Would you vote for him?
Most booty scratching Africans wouldn't do that because if they're booty scratchers, that means they're tethers.
I just
So they
asked you a
probably
question. You can say yes or no.
no. You said a booty scratching African. No, now if we had an African who was a rider, yeah, but not the booty scratching ones. If we had an African who was a rider, and they were like, "Hey, brothers, I'm an African candidate. I'm from Kenya or Sierra Leone or wherever, and I want to make sure my FBA brothers get some reparations. On, I'm gonna make sure the U.S. government makes sure that some reparations pop up. I would support them, of course, but is that gonna happen?
I mean, you're pretty rational then. I thought you were a sick man. I'll give you that.
Okay,
Um, one last thing. Actually, I'll keep it at that.
there you go. All right, brother, go ahead and get your baklava out the oven, and you have a good night, sir. Thank you so much. All right, Dr. Davinsky. All right, let's get retro. We in here heavy. We are in here heavy. Retro, hop on.
Hey Tariq, long time listener, man. Appreciate you letting me come up. Uh, I'm FBA for sure. I just wanted to know what your opinion on Cornell West was. If that was, I've been watching his campaign trail and whatnot. I was just wondering what your opinion on him was. I mean, I heard him speak of reparations and things, but
Yeah. Thank you. People call up every day and ask what I think about Cornell West. The same thing. If he's talking serious about reparations, then I give him a serious thought. But Cornell will say reparations one day and then be, well, we got to lift up all the poor people, and it a lot of mixed messages in there. So that's what it is. That's what it is. All right. But people ask the Cornell question regularly, and I give the same answer. All right. All right. And while we're talking, don't forget to go to rootworkstyle.com to get your Rootwork deodorant, ladies and gentlemen. Get that Rootwork deodorant. All right, Dr. Davinsky, I'll let you in for a quick minute. What's up, Dr. Davinsky? Dr. Davinsky.
Salam alaikum, White Power. Sorry for cutting out before Tariq. My phone just died unexpectedly.
I know. The reception in those trailer parks are a beast. But go ahead. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I think I dropped my meth pipe and it disconnected the phone.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So what's on your mind?
So I've been thinking about the black plight, the FBA plight, right? And I've come to a conclusion. So 80% of intelligence is inherited from the parent to the child, right? So if you have a group of people, such as the FBAs, that are descendants of slaves, right? Their entire selection is that of a slave class of people, right? So these are the most docile, submissive people that were captured from West Africa. And I'm not saying about West Africans in general. You guys that are FBAs literally just come from these very docile, submissive people, right? That's why you're slaves.
No, that's not true. You know why?
Why is that?
Because the ones that ended up enslaved, they got the warrior class out of Africa. Let's look at this for real. The people that they put on the boats, who they had to get chains for and the locks, they had to use brute force to get the warrior class into the Western Hemisphere. Okay?
But you were the weakest warriors. You were the
No,
ones
we were
captured.
not. No. We weren't weak. No. They didn't spend top dollar on weak people. We were not weak. No.
You weren't physically weak, but in terms of the West African structure, the ethnic groups there, the FBAs descend from the slave caste of people, right?
No, there's no such thing as a slave caste of people. No.
There still are in West Africa today. So the Berber.
No. Slow it down. We're gonna do some real history here. There's no slave caste of people.
Yes, there are.
They got the they got the warrior class out. And the warrior class, we were deceived by the coon class. All right. There was the sellout class. That's how we got caught up by the white supremacists, from the sellout class, who we thought were our allies. So we got manipulated by other people who were trying to make deals, weak-minded people. The weak ones were the ones left over. The riders, who was down to fight these white supremacists tooth and nail, were sent to the Western Hemisphere. That's why the Haitian Revolution popped off the way it did, and it was successful because you had the warrior class over there in Haiti who whooped all types of ass. Over here, they had to break us up and send us to different parts and break up the families. And we mixed in with the Aboriginal warrior class here, who were turned on by the red natives. So we have always been the warrior class. That's why when we were pushed out of Africa, sir, they just walked on in and colonized everybody. That's the weakness right there, when they can just walk in small numbers and just colonize the whole damn country and enslave them. You see?
Okay, so I've got a different.
Does that make sense? Are you following me though? That makes sense, right?
Well, the where you start from is off. So everything you say past there is wrong, and I'll tell you why. There have been a slave caste in Africa that is racially stratified. It predates that of the transatlantic slave trade. So a good example of this are the Berber Arab people. They have a slave society, a slave caste, a racial stratification. The bottom society of that hierarchy are called the Iqalim. The Ackland translates to be black. These are the black slaves, literally born into slaves, generation. This is chattel slavery. And this is how it's been in Africa for millennial. All right.
No,
this
no,
whole
because
so let me just land this
that's
plane.
wrong. That's wrong. Because
No,
there
no,
were
this
situations where there were black. Listen to what I'm saying, because what you're saying is horseshit. I don't know where you're getting that from.
no, it
You
still
had,
happens today. It still happens
sir,
today.
you had black people who were being enslaved who came from royal families over there. They were not from slave caste. They actually came from royal families. There was one situation, a very famous case in the United States, where there was a person who was enslaved because he got caught out there in West Africa. Um, a, he helped a white European man in a situation when the white man went to Europe. The black man ended up getting taken here to the United States. And most of us were just lost in time. But this guy was in Louisiana. The white man he saved recognized him because he went to visit the United States. And the white man said, "Hey, this guy's from a royal family." And there was a big campaign to get this guy back to Africa because he was a part of a deal that Morocco had with the United States. If you were enslaved anybody from Morocco, if they understood where they came from, you were supposed to let them go. So there were a lot of royal people being enslaved. There wasn't a slave
But
catch.
most of them were slave caste
Okay,
people.
yeah. So I'm just saying your premise is horseshit. That's the
No, my
bottom line.
premise is completely correct.
All right, your premise is horseshit. But go ahead.
Okay, so there was a slave caste in
It
Africa
wasn't
that
a slave
predates that of the transit
sir.
slaves.
Sir,
Slave
sir.
caste still happens today.
There's
I can
no
send you
such
peer-reviewed
sir.
studies to show that it predates the
There's no
transatlantic
such
slave
thing.
trade.
Okay, if you want to talk about a slave caste, that would be
Uh-huh.
the European Slavic people.
No,
If
that
we
would be the Ackland and
no,
so the Fulani
sir,
literally had you guys as
sir,
slaves. The Fulani sold you to the
sir.
Europeans and the
If
Arabs.
if there was a slave caste, that would be the European white Slavic people. That's literally where the word slave came from. It comes from
Yeah,
Slav.
so okay, if there's populations in the Middle East that are predominantly Slavic, they would be a slave caste. But you can't. So I'm not saying that all West Africans are a slave caste.
But
I'm saying
yeah,
that the descent. Hang
but
on,
sir,
Tariq. You keep cutting
sir,
me off because you know that I'm going to body your argument right
no,
now.
you're not, sir.
Let me finish
Because
make my point.
The Slavics were the OG slaves. So much so, the word slave was named after them, sir.
Okay,
So
yeah,
what you talking about a slave caste?
there
That
are
would be the
slave
slave
castes of
caste.
there are slave castes of Slavs that their offspring and their
What
descendants
what
inhabit
makes
the
you a
Middle
no no no
East.
no? Listen to what you're saying. What makes you a slave caste genetically? What makes you a slave caste people
And
genetically?
so a slave caste is someone that is born into slavery, and through generation and generation, their group and their closest ancestors are slaves also. What this does is it breeds a
That
submissive
only
docile.
that
You know,
no no
hang on,
no
Tariq. You
stop
know when you
because you
breed a cow, the way to breed a
no
cow is to get rid of the aggression, to make this as most domesticated as possible. And so what I'm saying is that the
that's horse.
FBA would do better under slavery than the current model because you guys are genetically predisposed to being slaves. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're not. Then why did we resist it so much and get rid of it?
Well, it takes time, but at the end of slavery, you guys kind of liked it. You
Then
liked
then
getting buck
then
broken.
why
Don't you have a
then
whole video about being buck broken?
then why did you guys create slave patrols, which became the police, and you spent so much money on the military schools in the South, and you spent so much money on the slave catchers, and the United States government damn near went bankrupt fighting the Seminole War, black people, if we liked it so much? Why were we whooping your ass so much to get out of it?
So it's the same reason that you have fences and ranches on a farm, because if you get an escaped cow or an escaped horse, like sometimes they can go wild. You got to
Right.
go retrieve them, right?
hmm But you don't have to set up laws against the cows, though. You see,
Well,
you
I'm
don't
not
have
saying
to.
you're a
You don't.
cow. I'm
You
saying
don't.
that
You don't have to segregate yourself because of the damn wild cow. You don't have to miseducate a wild cow. You understand? You don't
yes.
have to have black codes for a wild cow. You don't
Mhm.
have to have spectacle lynchings for a wild cow. You don't castrate a wild cow and keep the dick. You dig? You don't do that to people who you think are docile. You do that to people who you think are a threat, right?
But what I'm saying, Tariq, is that there's some personality traits that have been bred into a population of the slave caste. The same, you could find the same phenomenon for the Slavs in the Middle East. Their descendants are probably less intelligent, more docile, more submissive, just for generations of mistreatment, generations of breeding the the kind of aggression out of that animal.
Oh, so if using that logic, there's also, by your logic, a predisposition to evil. If you are from an evil environment that's hostile and cold and unforgiving, and that breeds a certain disposition in the people, and they carry out genocidal acts on every group of people they meet, and they normalize this, that will make certain groups of people inherently evil, right?
So what you're bringing up is the cold winter theory, and actually it's the opposite. In the cold winters of Northern Europe, you had to have high trust societies, because if you had delinquents and you had thieves in your society, you would starve. You wouldn't survive the winter. You had to have this trust group. Compared to equatorial populations, Indians, Africans, Arabs, these kind of people can have fruit blossoming all year round. They can run around naked. They don't have the same stresses as the cold winters of the Northern European people, right? So actually we had a high trust society and you guys had a low trust society.
That makes zero sense, because if we live in an environment of abundance, there would be no need to distrust people. You distrust people only in a hostile situation when there is a lack, when you don't have
But
any.
you had to work together.
No,
right?
you don't.
Your
No, what
survival was dependent on the next man.
No, but your survival was dependent upon you beating the next man. That's why you were so brutal and savage. The image of the European caveman was them walking around with a damn club. What were y'all doing with the
Look,
club? It was
Tariq,
that's the image, sir. They were the image of the European caveman was them walking around with a club, badgering shit all over the place. And that's what, when you got out of Europe, you went around badgering people, sir. That's not trust. It's
Look.
all about deception. You had to learn how to be deceptive. So when you went around Aboriginal people, when they left Europe, they went around all of the Aboriginal people who welcomed them. And then what did your family do? They deceived them and badgered them and stole. You don't come from a trust society.
The Aboriginals of where?
Everywhere you went, all of the Aboriginal people.
Europeans are Aboriginal to Europe.
To what? No, you're not.
You're not. We're indigenous to Europe.
Not the current ones. No.
Of course we are. We
people classified as white are not
proto-Europeans.
What Malcolm say? The white supremacists are not Aboriginal to anywhere. Where are you
Malcolm,
Aboriginal?
the half white guy.
Malcolm no. Where are you? No. Where are white supremacists Aboriginal to? Not Europe.
Yeah, we are. We're indigenous to Europe.
Sir, the original people of Europe were black Grimaldi people.
No, they weren't. Cheddar Man has been debunked so many times.
I didn't say Cheddar Man. I was talking about the Grimaldi. The Cheddar Man came later. The Grimaldi were before them, and they were black.
Hey, are you talking about the Romani, the Indian gypsies that fucking
Grimaldi?
Came to Europe?
No, I'm not. I'm not even talking about them. That they came later. The Grimaldi were there way a long time ago. Hell, some of the Etruscan people were black-skinned people. Sir,
right. So if you want to look at the most advanced society, it was called the Minoan society, right? These people had 3-story buildings.
Where was this?
Plumbing. This was 5,000 years ago in the Mediterranean Sea. And these people cluster mostly with the present-day Cyprus people and Northern and Western Europeans. They cluster closer to Northern and Western Europeans than they do Southern Europeans. There's been genetic studies that prove this. These were very advanced people.
Then why were y'all running around, crawling around in caves then, if they had all of these 3-story?
Let's go back. Let's get back to the serious conversation.
Because 6,000 years ago, y'all was still in caves out there.
Tariq, let's get back to the serious conversation.
No. What 3-story buildings are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Just type in the Minoan civilization and you'll see. We were the first people to have dreadlocks too. So you guys culturally appropriated dreadlocks
Well,
from
that means
the
they must have
ancient
been
Europeans.
they must have been black people if they had dreadlocks. Sir, y'all
No.
didn't even
Dreadlocks is what happens when you just like rub your hair together. It's friction. But the
sir,
way that black people get
where
dreadlocks
is
is
all
from
this
not washing their hair.
where did all this architecture come from? Europe didn't even have literature until the Iliad and the Odyssey, and that was in what
No, the first so if you look at
800
the
BC.
language, I think it's called Greek language B, and then you've got Greek language A. So the Minoan civilization it's an extinct language family, right?
It's
It's kind
extinct.
of got
Okay.
mythical origins, but
Okay, so
the
it's
present
a
day
myth.
Northern
It's a myth.
and Western
It's a myth.
Europeans cluster with these people.
Okay, it's a myth that y'all didn't came up with because y'all didn't have shit popping.
No,
in
it's a
Europe.
language family that has like kind of mythical origins.
Dude,
We don't know exactly. We can't
y'all made up.
decipher the alphabet.
It's something y'all done made up. Y'all didn't have nothing.
Tariq, let's get back to the serious conversation. Let me
My
just
man
land
and
on this point.
my man said the Minoans were the Cushites. So yeah, I don't believe it was the white skinned Europeans. It wasn't.
Just type in Minoan DNA, Northern Western Europeans.
They must
You'll
have
see
been.
that
They must have been some
there's
Cushites.
genetic studies that show that we're closely.
They must have been the black people living up there, sir.
No. Listen, Tariq.
Uh-huh.
So let's look at West African populations in
Let's look at
America
Europe
today.
Let's
West
look at
Africans
Europe.
are the most educated populations in America. Nigerians have the most
Let's look at
Europe.
Let's look at the white supremacists.
Tariq, I need to get back to the first point because you dodged it. I want to talk about the slave caste.
There is no slave caste, which is
You are the slave caste,
the
and
Slavic
there's nothing
people.
wrong with that.
No, the Slavic people. That's your people. That's where slaves were named after.
Slavs, sure. Slavs,
No,
the ones that were
you're
enslaved
the
are the slave caste, but
sir.
not. Look, hang on, let me just clarify. So the Slavic people that were enslaved in the Middle East for generations, raped. Yeah, they're the descendants of slave caste, but Slavs in general
those your
aren't
people.
slaves. The same with West
listen.
Africans. West Africans in general aren't slaves, but the FBAs, the ones that were transported as slaves and enslaved for generations, they are a slave caste by definition.
No, there's no such thing as a slave caste, sir.
Why do West Africans that come to America have more master's, bachelor degrees than the general population?
Why do they
the
have
FBAs that come from the same region don't? It's because one population is the higher caste, the other population is a lower slave caste.
Then if it's higher caste, how come their society is broken down?
There's a lot of reasons for that.
If they're higher caste, make it make sense. That don't make sense. The math ain't math. Nothing. Make it make sense.
So Tariq, Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa today. It's
then why are people?
Then
why is it in abject poverty and people are getting on inner tubes to get out?
Well, there are populations in Africa that have higher human development indexes than a lot of Asian, Latin American.
I'm talking about in West Africa. West Africa is toe up and everybody's going to get up out of there.
What do you think of Botswana?
What about West Africa, sir? Why is it so toe up?
Nigeria is on the rise. It has one of the fastest growing economies in the world today.
Sir, the people are getting out of there in droves. We've seen what it looks like, sir. How come that high caste ain't working there?
Tariq, what I would suggest is breeding with the West African immigrants, the high IQ, the more successful immigrants in America. I know there's a lot in the DMV. There's a lot.
Your argument is falling apart, Dr. Davinsky.
Tariq, what you should do, the best.
I don't need a suggestion from a white supremacist who fled to Australia, sir.
Tariq.
Sir. I don't take advice from somebody who failed in Europe. You failed in Europe, sir.
No. What we did is my people were fighting against the British and we were transported to Australia as slaves too. You could say
as prisoners. They sent all of the derelicts, rapists, murderers, and drunks to Australia and Tasmania. And you dirtbags.
That's not true. Most of those crimes of necessity or fighting against the British Empire.
Lord.
Those weren't the vast majority, 80-90% of
crimes of necessity. How about you just
90% of people transported to Australia were crimes of necessity.
No, you didn't have to kill people. You didn't have to steal. All you had to do was work together. But that white supremacist mindset.
No, there was no working together.
No, but I thought that y'all built trust with your culture. It ain't no
Yeah,
trust.
between the Irish people, but the British people subjugated and oppressed us. They had
Right.
what was called the
They
penal codes, which banned our language, banned our musical instruments, subjugated us, made us not be able to own farmlands. 95% of the
and then
farmland.
y'all took your asses out there and did the same thing to the black Aboriginals in Australia and Tasmania. Ain't that a
There
coincidence?
were actual rebellions between the Irish and the Aboriginals against the British. There's many documented
But
cases of
y'all
this.
turned on the Aboriginal people and subjugated them and wiped most of them out.
No. Look,
Yeah,
Tariq,
yeah, yeah,
history is a
yeah.
lot more nuanced than the way
No,
that you make.
it's real plain. I make it plain. It ain't that nuanced. You guys genocided the entire Tasmanian country. You took all of the Aboriginal Tasmanians out, and most of the black Aboriginals in Australia. What part of Australia are you in, by the way? Are you in Melbourne or Sydney?
So I grew up in south of Sydney, and then I moved to Tasmania. Beautiful white state, very
Yeah,
beautiful,
yeah,
mountainous.
because you killed all the black people off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. They were in the stick age. They didn't even have stone age. They were in the stick age when we came.
right, right.
Yeah,
So,
and they're
so,
killing the settlers.
so,
They were like.
so that evil white supremacist mindset that has been passed down from the caves. So you're not at liberty to tell anybody about anything, sir.
But
And
we
you,
got them out of the stick age into a modern society.
no,
Tariq,
you
let me
didn't.
ask you this:
No,
Can I
you
finish?
didn't. You got them out of the earth. You killed all of them. So yeah, that's not a good deal. So you're not going to tell me about anything. A genocidal white supremacist
Let me
caste.
ask you a question, Tariq. All right,
You can't tell
listen,
me about anything, sir. But go ahead
listen.
and the
Okay, so
Aboriginal brothers and sisters. Because I've been to Australia, guy. You're
they're not
talking.
even black. The Aboriginals of today, they call themselves Aboriginal, are whitewashed as fuck.
They used to call themselves black fellows. All right.
Yeah, the ones out in the desert are still Aboriginal, but the
Mhm.
city and suburban Aboriginals, so-called Aboriginals, are just white people cosplaying. They may be
No,
like
they're not.
5%
No,
of it.
no, y'all got
Of
them.
course
Y'all
they
got
are.
them over in Sydney. You got them all over there, squandered in Redfern in that area. Uh,
I used to live near Redfern, and they're savages there.
they're not savages. They've been subjugated by you, white supremacists.
No, they beat their wives. They have high alcoholism.
Oh
Like
Lord, stop.
they need to take some accountability. Aboriginals get the most handouts out of any population in Australia. They get free university. My brother's applying for medicine right now. Aboriginals can get like 30 points lower. They don't have to pay for the JAMSAT, which is the entrance exam,
I
which is
wish
like
they
two
rise.
thousand five
I
hundred
wish they
dollars. They
rise
get
up on the
so
white
many
supremacists.
benefits and that's why a lot of white.
Stop babbling. God damn. I wish those Aboriginals rise up on the white supremacists. That's what I wish. That's my dream for my Aboriginal brothers and sisters out there. I wish they raise up on them white supremacists. Sick a kangaroo on your ass or something. That's what I wish. I don't want them to go out like the Tasmanians. But I want y'all to, this is family, listen to these white supremacists. Listen to how demonic they are, how casually demonic they are. See, this is a lesson for the family to learn. All right, but anyway, Dr. Levinsky, you're just kind of babbling right now, so let me let some more folks get on. All right. But y'all just see the sick mind of these white supremacists. Let me get my brother Sir Major in here. See, sir, what's up, Playboy? Sir Major in the building. What's up, brother?
Dear brother Tariq Nasheed, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. How
Man,
are
I'm
you?
fantastic, man. A couple different things I want to highlight you about. Our brother Mark Carter. Mark Carter is a warrior, a fighter, and he's unorthodox, but he's been standing on code for a long time up in Chicago. And he was the very first person that told many of us about the Office of New Americas and the importance of that 3 years ago on Clubhouse. Well, it pans out that just as you've been educating us, that he's right, that the Office of America and Cities for Action has been undermining Black Americans. And these are these sanctuary cities and these mayors, these are all being done underneath the Democratic Party. So when folks are
Yeah.
talking about, you know, the Democrats having Black Americans' backs, no, they single-handedly undermined us. And when you look at a lot of police brutality cases, the cases that I've always been a part of or witnessed, have been in Democratic cities, right? I mean, let's just
Yep.
be honest. Underneath Democratic
Oh, yeah.
mayors, Democratic chiefs of police, and Democratic leadership. So Mark Carter is all calling everyone. When the DNC goes to Chicago, he wants boots on the ground and wants us all to be there, whoever can show up, and a lot of top personalities on this app are going to be down there. So I think it'd be really dope if everyone can get down there in August for the DNC and shut that bad boy down. So there's that. And the other thing I wanted to say is in April, in just a few months, I am headed to trial to fight against this government for the accusation of stealing money from BLM. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm battle tested, and I'm going to need everyone's support. And how folks can support is by writing letters and getting that to me so that I can get it to my attorney, so we can go to trial and win. If I win, we all win. Because most black people, when you go to trial with the government, you lose in federal court. However, because they do have a 98 success conviction rate, and I'll end with this. The reason why they have such a high percentile is because they consider going to taking a plea deal as a win. I'm going to trial. I'm not taking a deal. They offered a deal, which was a sweetheart deal. We'll give you a day and a month. I'm sorry, a year and a day in jail. You'll only do 9 months. I mean, you'll only do 3 months in jail. You'll be right out. I said, hell no. I'm going to trial. I did not do what you're accusing me of doing, and I have strong evidence, and I hired lawyers. So I just wanted to offer that, and I look for your support. I think Mark Carter's going to need everyone's support out there in Chicago. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. My man. All right. Let me see. But we've been on here for a minute, man. We've been on here for hours. Man, let me get up out of here. Man, I've been on here for so long. We've been chopping it up, though. We're in here deep, man. We're like 1,000 people in here in the middle of the night. I appreciate everybody for listening. You guys can go get our children's and young adult book at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. Get the book called Hidden Heroes from A to Z. Very good book on history for children and young adults and older adults too. hiddenhistorymuseum.com. The book is called Hidden History from A to Z by the Hidden History Museum. All right, should I get a couple of more people? A lot of folks still in here. A lot of folks in here. Miss Lynn, let's try Miss Lynn. Miss Lynn, hop on. Let's see what's going on. All right, Miss Lynn.
How
All
you
right,
doing, Mr. Tariq?
Miss Lynn, how
All
are you?
right. How's the family?
Everybody's good. What's on your mind,
I
Miss
was
Lynn?
just wanting to let you know we had a power outage down here in Houston, Texas.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How massive was it?
Well, it seems like all the lights are off on my block, the next block over. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, get you some. All right, get some candles, sister. Hope everything's gonna be safe. All right. And save the energy. She's on the phone. How are you, brother?
I'm all right, buddy. I thought something. I'll ask you a few questions about some things you've said. Maybe I will have some clarity because every time I come here, I'm trying to get an education. At times it's confusing. At times disheartening. Up in parts disappointing. Others funny.
Really? What?
Yeah.
What?
So the first part of the question is why is it that every time you talk about Africa, you are negative. If you understand human genetics, you are not just part African, you are fundamentally African. Um, and even if you were to argue that you had something called an ethnogenesis, that is
Mm-hmm.
still a cultural process, and cultural events are a continuum. You can't extricate yourself from Africa.
Oh,
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible. My
okay.
ancestors are in your blood, and yours are in mine.
Okay. What part of Africa can I go to now for citizenship where I won't be treated like a foreigner.
So the two things, right? Remember,
Oh,
colonialism.
explain it.
Yeah, allow me to give you an answer, because you always
Oh,
ask
oh,
that question but do not want to take an answer, right?
okay, go
So
ahead. It's gonna take.
yeah,
Go ahead.
so nation states are creatures of Europe. That's number
Okay.
one. Number two, if you went to Africa today, one of the reasons, and you've been talking about how it is that they want money from you, you know as well as I do, given the harm that has been done to Africa and the social change that has taken place, Africa will not take people from America without knowing that they have the capacity to look after them. Part of the reason why they want Africans in America to,
Then I ain't them then.
sorry?
All right. And then that means I ain't them.
Well, you
Culture.
you are, because let's say tomorrow there was a genocide in America, and there's always potential for that because they kill you right, left, and center. It doesn't matter how rich or influential you are. If there's only one continent where Americans can go to, and that is Africa. Liberia is made up of former slaves, and there are parts of Africa where many former slaves are
No,
located.
it wasn't. Liberia wasn't made up of former
It
slaves.
is.
No, it
It is. Liberia, I think,
no,
is it
no,
Liberia and I think
no,
parts of Sierra Leone.
no, no. Free black people went to Liberia. They
What's
didn't
the
send slaves.
difference between a free man and a slave? The only difference is that one managed to
Oh,
get their freedom.
right. Yeah. They sent free black people to Liberia. It wasn't the slaves.
But it is what you are today, a free man. Those are the people in Liberia.
And only a very small handful of us from the United States went to
Yeah,
Liberia.
but
You
the
had
point
black.
is that Africa has never had an issue with them being in Africa. That is why when you talk about
They actually
Africa, have
there was
nuance,
conflict over there. There was a major conflict between the black
because of
people
this
and
same shit you're doing, Tariq. Niggas have a tendency of attacking niggas.
no. The thing is, black foundational black Americans were over there helping to stop the slave trade. They said, "Hey, we got to cut that nonsense
Why not
out."
focus on that rather than this bullshit of
Oh
dividing us?
Lord, sir. A lot of the people over there, you're talking about dividing, we have to look out. We can't let people just run roughshod over us, sir.
Yeah, but when
If
you're
that's
looking out,
when
you
no
don't
no
need to
no
shit
no no
on
no
your brothers.
y'all want us to ignore the fuck shit. We're not. Y'all,
No,
that's
no,
the thing.
nobody. Look. When I walk on the streets,
Y'all want to do stuff and then want us to ignore all of the janky stuff you do. And we're
no,
just not ignoring it. When we went over to Liberia, it wasn't the slaves, it was the free black people, and many of them were dying over there. Let's tell all of it. When we talk about our ethnogenesis, we became an ethnic group and we look out for each other here. I can't go to Africa and get welcome as an African citizen. That's the reality. So I'm not going to claim an African culture that I'm not even a part of, that they won't let me be a part of. I'm treated like a foreigner, which is okay. I'll be a foreigner. I'm a foundational
yeah,
black.
but that's a logical issue, Tariq. You have to manage who's coming in and who's going out. It's
No,
what countries and tribes do,
when y'all
right?
get when
La, la, la-
when y'all get kumbaya land, holler at me, which you don't have. You don't have kumbaya land that's welcoming me as a fellow African. I'm an Akata to some of these people. If I go to East Africa, I'm a Jarir, an Abid, and all of this other stuff. You're not rolling out the red carpet for me. And even if I bring a big bag of money, they still treat us kind of janky. They treat us as foreigners. That's the long and short of it. I'm a foundational black American, sir. I have no problem with that. We are a distinct ethnic group. We have an ethnogenesis like other groups who came out of Africa. Everybody came out of Africa. The Fijians came out of Africa. They had an ethnogenesis. They're their own group. East Indians came out of Africa. They had an ethnogenesis, became their own group. The Andaman Islanders came out of Africa, still look African, became their own ethnic group, had an ethnogenesis. Everybody had an ethnogenesis, and that includes us. We're the only group who's told that we're not supposed to acknowledge our cultural difference. And our new lineage that was created, there was a new lineage created. We became an ethnic group that's distinct from Africans. But we still have African genetics, like all other groups do. But you got to respect our DNA and our lineage and our culture. We became a new ethnic group, and that's what it is. And everybody knows that. But they're dependent upon us to uphold this global kumbaya Pan-Africanism mindset. And they want it to be one-sided so that they can piggyback off of the gains from our lineage. See, so we're not going to play that game. People are going to have to respect our lineage. That's what it is. We're foundational Black Americans. That don't mean we hate you. That means that we are a different ethnic group. We are foundational Black Americans. And that's something that people are going to have to deal with. That's the new normal. I know it upsets people, but that's what it is. Anyway, y'all, let me get up out of here because I got work to do. We had a real conversation tonight. Y'all follow me on my YouTube channel. This is where the playback is going to be. If y'all came in late, you'll be able to hear the playback on my Tariq Radio YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you guys have a good night. Papi Akute and Lola Vuve to the family. Peace.